So this is an example of what to do when you're doing a skincare group presentation. So I'm going to take you through essentially how I run my group presentations, and this is just an example of what you can do. You do not have to memorize all of my verbiage word for word. It's really about using your visual aids and using the scripting that we've created and creating something that's specific to you and your style. So this is just an example of what I do, and if there's things you really love, use it, and if there's things you think, oh, I think I might do it a little bit differently, then you can completely do that too. So it's at this point that everyone's usually been milling in the kitchen or a sort of a common group area, having a glass of wine or a glass of champagne or orange juice, having a little bit of a nibble, and I'd invite everybody sort of usually within 10 to 15 minutes of the event start time to actually come and sit down at the table and sit in front of a clipboard. So I have our beautiful guest, Jackie, helping us today. So she's going to be my lone guest. Usually you'd have obviously more than one sitting around the table. So if you just pretend like we've got, I could have put some teddy bears or something on the chairs, but just pretend that there are other guests here, and I will definitely act as if there's other guests, and I'll basically run through what we do in a group presentation. So once we've got everybody sat down, usually you will have had a chance to meet everybody already and say hi and do a few of the introductory sort of things, and how are you, how do you know the host, and asking them some introductory questions which we've got in our qualifying section, so you can have a look at that particular training. But you sit down and you would essentially start along by saying something like this. So hello everybody, thank you so much for joining me today and joining us today. I am so grateful to you, Jackie, as the host of today, to grab your friends over and have a really fun educational afternoon. So what we're going to be doing today is going through a beautiful facial treatment. We're then going to be doing a hand shul, which is sort of like a facial for our hand, and then we get to experience some of our beautiful cosmetic products. So as the host today, I'm going to be giving you a bit of a makeover once you've had your facial and doing a basic face of makeup on you. So essentially showing everybody how to do your makeup in 5 minutes. So I know I met all of you earlier, but I'll introduce myself and then I'll talk a little bit about Arbonne, and then we'll go into the actual really fun product experience. So my name is Kate Solomon. I've actually got an awesome little slide. This is my thank you slide. So you can totally see, I'm winging it as we go as well, because I totally forgot I had my thank you slide. So thank you to the host. So at this particular point, we've got some great words on the back. So I'll be introducing myself and thanking the host. So my name is Kate Solomon. I know I met all of you earlier. And this is just a little bit about me. So I actually started my business 3.5 or closer to 4 years ago, and I definitely wasn't looking for this business when I started. I used to actually wash my face with hand soap, and I didn't wear any makeup products except a concealer to cover my dark circles. So when I was invited along to a facials party or a group, skincare group presentation, I was like, oh, no thanks, I'm totally not interested. But my beautiful friend from Mother's Group just was a little bit insisting, and she convinced me to come along for the free champagne. So I was like, fine, I'm in, I'll be there for the free champagne, but I'm not buying anything, I'm not interested. And during her event, I literally was just smashing my champagne and having lots of fun drinking the champagne. And I didn't really try any of the products, but it was about halfway through the presentation, when everyone was feeling their skin, saying, oh my gosh, like my skin feels amazing. And I looked at them and their skin really did look good, that it sort of sparked my curiosity. So I grabbed the products in a bit of a huff and went into the bathroom and tried them. And yes, granted, I was sort of working from a very low base because I was using hand soap, but I tried the products and I instantly felt that difference with my skin. It looked and felt instantly different. And so I was like, wow, like these are very good products. So I came back in a little bit sheepishly and joined the rest of the group. And to cut a long story short, I looked at the person that was delivering the group presentation, a lady by the name of Katrina Andrew, and she was an ex-recruitment consultant. And she was just like me, because at the time when I was sitting through that presentation, I was a HR manager and I absolutely loved what I did. But I found that I was rushing, and I was still stuck on this rushing cycle. I was rushing into the childcare centre to drop my kids off, who were often the first ones there. I then rushed into work, I rushed around work, I rushed home from work, often not quite in time to see my kids before they went to bed. And then I just rushed around on the weekend, and I never felt like I was truly present. But I loved what I did, and I earned really great money. So I guess on the face of it, I thought I was quite happy. But I realised I was so time poor. And so I looked at this business as not necessarily as a way of getting back more time, because I never actually expected to be successful, but just as an opportunity to earn a little bit of extra money and pay for a holiday to France that we were looking at taking. So fast forward, a few weeks, I jumped in head first, not having any idea what I was doing, and I was really, really bad when I started. But the business has completely surpassed my expectations. So there's a couple of photos here of my Arbonne story, my journey. So I'm now currently a mum of 3. So I have a 1-year-old, a 5-year-old and a 6-year-old. And my little 1-year-old has been born into into an Arbonne life. He doesn't know any different. But in my first 6 months, a little photo up here, I managed to actually earn a free trip to Fiji for my entire family. And I thought Arbonne had made a mistake when they gave me that trip after I earned it, because I was like, I don't really know what I'm doing. How on earth did I manage to earn this? But it was such an amazing holiday. And then 6 months after earning that holiday, I actually quit my job. So 12 months into the business, I'd almost replaced my 6-figure salary, and I thought, you know what? Like, I feel this business is right for me and giving me what I was looking for, which was just an opportunity to feel fulfilled and be able to help people like I did in HR, and also earn some great money, but have time without the rushing anywhere. I could be physically and mentally present for my kids. So I quit my job after 12 months, and then 6 months later, 18 months into the business, I actually was handed the keys to a white Mercedes-Benz. And when I first started, I was like, only the special people get the Benz. I don't really think I'm ever going to achieve it. It's just for people that know what they're doing. So to receive the keys was the most incredible experience, and I now get to pay this forward and hand out the keys to the cars for people in my team. I'm not saying all of this to say I'm so amazing. I'm just saying, like, I'm proof that the business works. It's not just for the special people. It's not just for the beauty therapists or people that know what they're doing with skincare. It's really for anyone with a really good work ethic and a desire to sort of be more, do more, and have more. So that was after 18 months. I was actually, the really cool thing is every year there's a little picture of me down the bottom walking the stage in Vegas. Like, every year we get to go to Vegas on this crazy, amazing conference. It's just the most amazing week ever, every single year on this awesome tax deductible holiday. So yeah, in my 3.5 years, I guess, just to keep moving, I've managed to earn the free trip to Fiji. I got handed the keys to the white Mercedes-Benz. I also have managed to go on a free trip to the Caribbean, and Arbonne actually sent my whole family, and I was pregnant at the time. So there's a photo of us with a little dolphin in the Caribbean. But they also gave me $1,500 spending money. Like, it was crazy. And then 8 weeks after getting back from this holiday, Arbonne then flew me to New York on an all expenses paid trip. With the New York incentive, they even did crazy things like they gave me $1,000 US. They closed Tiffany on 5th Avenue, gave us Verve champagne served by the hottest waiters, and said, have fun shopping. So I bought myself like a massive Tiffany ring and just had the most incredible experience with 150 other consultants. So it's a real privilege for me to sit here today and share what I love, which is these incredible products for you to be able to experience them too, and also share a little bit about the business in the event it is a good fit for you. So that's a little bit about me and how excited I am to be here. And thank you again so much, Jackie, for having your friends over. You're in for a real treat this afternoon, because you actually just get to stop and be present. So I mentioned before about that whole rushing. I'm not sure if you can relate to that, but it's kind of nice just to sort of stop and force yourself to just be present and have a glass of champagne and treat yourself to this beautiful experience. So in terms of what to expect, I'm just going to go through a little bit about Arbonne, and I'm also going to give you a heads up at the very end of this presentation. I'm actually going to be asking each of you 4 questions. And those 4 questions are, what's your favourite product? What would you like to order? Would you like to host your own get-together similar to this? And are you curious about the opportunity at all, or do you know someone who you think this opportunity could be an incredible fit for? So that's just a heads up on the 4 questions that I'm going to be asking you. So I encourage you, as I move through the presentation today, to really consider what would you do if you had more money and more time, just to achieve certain things that you might not currently be achieving. And I also would love to ask you one question to start with, which is who has actually heard of Arbonne before? So you haven't heard of Arbonne? No, you haven't. You have. So you'll find at this particular point, if I could just sort of stop and push pause on that one, that some people might have heard about Arbonne and some haven't. Rather than kind of just accepting that some people have and not actually asking any further questions, I'd encourage you to ask them more questions. So getting really excited and saying, oh my gosh, that's awesome, what have you heard? So they might have seen something in the print media or on Facebook, they might have a friend that's a consultant, they might have actually tried the products before. So really just try to understand how they've heard about Arbonne and ask them a couple of extra questions. If they have heard of it before and they do know someone, even ask them who that person is, because they actually might be part of our team, and it just reinforces the incredible culture that we have in our business. So you can ask them some further questions at that particular point. There's some great information on the back of each of your visual aids that sort of act as that great scripts to give you some of those extra questions to ask. So that's what you would essentially do at that particular point. So once I've then said, okay, what do you know about Arbonne? That's awesome. I'm actually now going to share with you a little bit about Arbonne. So Arbonne actually has been around for over 35 years, and it was founded in Switzerland. So you probably recognise anything Swiss is really revered for its quality, whether it's your Swiss Army knives or Swiss watches or Swiss men. They really are quite a lovely specimen. And Arbonne as a brand is really no different. And Arbonne actually means beautiful tree in Swiss, and that really underlies our entire botanical philosophy. So all of our ingredients are derived from nature, and you'll smell some of the fragrances, particularly even in our lipsticks, where we have these beautiful botanical extracts. So it's been around for 35 years, and it was actually started by this amazing man here. His name was Peter Mork, and he actually created Arbonne because at the time, nearly 40 years ago, he was a leading director in one of the major cosmetic and skincare companies over there, and he knew the types of ingredients that were actually going into the products that the company he was working with was creating, and he did not want his wife using them. He thought that there has to be a better way, so he actually created the entire brand and our formulations purely on the basis of a pure, safe and beneficial brand philosophy, and I'll explain what that is in just a second. But he created the brand specifically for his wife so that she could use safe products, and also created it through what's called a direct selling chain. So you actually won't find any of our products in any shops. They are only sold via word of mouth at events such as these and through one-on-ones. So we don't advertise our products. We don't pay, pay a huge amount of expensive commission checks to people and famous celebrities to endorse our products. We actually have people publicly endorsing our products for free, which is awesome. So in our catalogue, which I've got a copy of just here, we have like nearly 400 products in our catalogue, and all of the beautiful models that you see are actually Arbonne consultants. So it's really awesome that we use our own consultants as our models, and that really helps us keep our costs down, because the difference between a direct selling company like Arbonne and a traditional retail company is there's a huge amount of middle people and middle companies involved in the manufacturing and distribution process in a retail chain versus that in a direct selling. So in retail you've got your distributors and your wholesalers and your sales force, and that all adds cost to the product. So the product might start by costing $5 to manufacture, but it's sold for $50 by the time it goes through all of those different channels. Whereas in direct selling, the difference is we manufacture the product and then it's distributed via consultants, so like myself. So all of the middlemen are reduced, and so we can get you an ultra prestige quality product for less than department store pricing, which is really great value, and you'll feel the difference on your skin in terms of using this such high quality products. So that's just a little bit about Arbonne, but we also, have this beautiful brand philosophy of pure, safe and beneficial. So what does that actually mean? As my little flyer up here says, pure is all about what's not in our products than what is in our products, which really makes our key point of difference. So what's not in our products are things like animal products or animal byproducts. So if you've ever actually Googled things like what is keratin and understand a little bit about what actually kind of ingredients actually going into a lot of skincare companies, you'll find they do use a lot of animal products. So what's really disgusting, do we actually have any vegetarians or vegans in the room? You're a vegetarian? So you may already know this, but euthanized pets and the animal entrails and all the offcuts from slaughterhouses are actually collected in refrigerated trucks, and they're sent to a rendering plant, and that rendering plant put them in these big vats, and the lid's put on, and that vat is heated at a really high temperature, and the animal byproducts and animals that are in there actually liquefy, and a fatty lard-like substance rises to the surface, and that's actually scraped off. And the number one purchaser of that byproduct and that sort of lard-like substance is skincare and cosmetic companies, and they're using it in so many different products, but they don't call it animal byproducts, they call it things like keratin. So I really love giving this information out, because I think knowledge is power, and with more knowledge comes greater choices. And if you know about what's in your products, you can just make different choices or better choices for your family. So we don't have any animal products or animal byproducts. We also don't have any mineral oil, and the other ones I really love amongst all of this list are the parabens and phthalates. So parabens and phthalates are really nasty toxic chemicals, and it's so good to see so many companies coming on to say they're advertising their products as paraben free, because it's been linked to a number of really nasty diseases. So we don't have any of those products, any of those ingredients, in any of our products. So that's the pure part of our brand philosophy, and our brand is also just before I move on to the safe part, is they're actually conforming to EU standards. So the big difference with that is in Australia and America, there's only 13 ingredients currently that are banned for use in all sort of personal care products, whereas in the European Union there's over 1,300. So our products actually comply with EU standards, which means there's a whole lot of ingredients that we don't use and will never use in any of our ranges because it would not comply with our ingredient philosophy, which is pretty cool. So the safe part. So in essence, our products are really, really rigorously tested, but we don't test on animals. So they're dermatologist tested, our baby care range is paediatrician tested, they're ophthalmologist tested with anything that comes in contact with their eyes. We're also vegan certified because we are cruelty free, so not only do we not test on animals, we also don't put any animal byproducts or products into any of our ranges. We're dairy free, we're 98% certified organic. All of our nutrition products are gluten-free, so we really have this incredibly safe brand, so we don't compromise safety for the efficiency of our products. So it's a really, really incredible thing to know that. And I guess one of the facts that is little known as well is one of the number one irritants, and it kind of goes back to the pure part of our brand philosophy, is people that have what they consider sensitive skin are often sensitive to things like the synthetic and chemical fragrances. So it's really nice to know that often clients who have had quite severe responses with other products can actually use Arbonne's range without any issues because of what's not in our products and because of the testing. So that's kind of cool to know too. And the last part of our brand philosophy is the beneficial part. So what does that mean? It actually means our products work. They do what they say they're going to do, and we stand behind our products with a 45-day money-back guarantee. All of our products actually work. So this is an example of a bit of a diagram of some skin, and I love this slide because it actually shows not only the aging process but how the skin layers work. So Arbonne's products actually work all through here in your journey layers of the skin. So anything that typically buy from the chemist, the supermarket, and often in Maya actually typically only works on the surface. So it actually doesn't do anything at a cellular level. Our products are specifically formulated to go through this barrier on the top surface of the skin and actually work here at a cellular level. So some of the things you might experience when you're using our ranges are a little bit of tingling, your face might flush a little bit pink, you may also experience like a little bit of heat. They're all really, really normal responses because our products are quite active. So you'll be able to sort of know that they actually are doing what they say they're going to do. And I think I might have mentioned this, I think I did, I'm not sure, but I'll mention it again anyway. We stand by our products with a 45-day money-back guarantee. So if you get something and you're like, Kate told me that this will reduce the dark circles under my eyes, and it doesn't, you can contact me within 45 days and get your money back, which is pretty cool. Cool, so that gets us, I guess, to now our beautiful product experience. So I've got in front of you just a little clipboard, so if you would be so kind and fill it out. Just that first section to the first bolded line, I would be very, very grateful. So I'll just give you a couple of minutes to fill that out. And then there's a little sort of tick the box or circle the box section as well that you can just sort of circle some of the things that you might be interested in. And then once you've done that, we are going to start our beautiful product experience. So you've got some headbands in front of you that you can put on and rock a la 80s style. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take each of you into the bathroom one by one. And we're going to cleanse your face in there and do the first step, and then we'll do the rest of the steps when we get back to the table. So then I'll usually let my clients, I'll give them a couple of minutes and I'll just kind of keep an eye on them to see how they're going with their form. Usually if people start talking, they're done. It is a bit of a talk fest for the first 10 minutes, so I try to, I don't think I did in this particular example, but I do try to say I am going to sort of talk for the first 10 minutes a little bit about myself, how I got involved in Arbonne, and a little bit about Arbonne itself for those of you that haven't heard about the brand. So that kind of gives people an understanding that, you know, they're going to have to listen to me speak for a few minutes. Because sometimes I do feel it's a bit of a talk fest. Every single presentation I do is a little bit different, so sometimes I include things, sometimes I don't. It really just depends on what's going on, engaging the mood of the group. So there's things, you know, that you'll see on the script that I didn't mention. They might be really important to you. It might just be a complete oversight by me, or things that I just felt I didn't need to say in this particular group. So the best part is you can make this whatever you want. The key thing though is to have fun and stay upbeat and positive and give your gorgeous guests a really beautiful experience and make the host feel amazing. amazing. So just have some fun with it and relax and use your script and use your guide, even if you end up holding it, if you've laminated them like myself, so you can actually refer to the scripting on the back. Don't feel bad if you sort of have to look at the script, like it's completely fine. One of the things I did when I first started was I actually said, please forgive me while I refer to my notes. I've actually got a fair bit of really important information and education to actually cover off with you this morning, this afternoon or this evening, whatever time of day you're doing your presentation. So if I'm not able to maintain eye contact, I'm looking at my notes, please forgive me. I just want to make sure I don't miss anything. So that's essentially it. So we're now going to go into the bathroom. So at this point I would invite my very first guest, and I usually just pick one who's my first to my left. And I say, Jackie, I'd love to take you into the bathroom now, so come with me. So at this point you'd come into the bathroom space, and when you bring in each guest, you'd actually bring in their specific clipboard and their pen. And in the bathroom already, you'll have your cleanser, your eye makeup remover, your little cotton rounds, some fibrilla cloths, or your face washes already pre-set up and in here. And I'd also encourage you to bring in your sensitive skincare set, whether you just bring in the cleanser or you just bring in the whole bag, it's completely up to you. So you've kind of got that ready to go for each client. And then when you get them into the bathroom, this is really an opportunity just to get to know them a little bit better. You've only got a couple of minutes, but just to establish a bit more of a connection with them one-on-one, because it is really hard to do it in that group environment, just so you can connect with them more and build that relationship and also kind of build the trust. So at this point, you'd go through the second section on their clipboards with them. So really it says whether, very obviously, consultant to complete this with them one-on-one. So I would ask them the questions, note down their responses, and then get them to go through and cleanse their face. So we've just walked into the bathroom. Awesome, Jackie. So I've just got a couple of questions just to ask you and go through just to understand your specific skin needs before we go through and cleanse your face. So are you currently using any skincare?
Not
Not really?
really.
No?
I mean, just supermarket type products.
Okay. So do you wash your face currently?
Yeah.
Yeah. And any moisturisers?
No.
No? Okay. What about cosmetics? Are you using any cosmetics currently?
Look, I couldn't even tell you the brand.
Okay.
I'm not very fussy about what I use.
Not fussy? Typically buy them from the supermarket?
No.
Okay. All right. So on a scale of 1 being not happy and 5 being completely happy, how happy are you with the results that you're getting from your current skincare?
No, I'd say 1.5.
1.5? Okay, so not that happy. And if there was one thing you could change about your skin, what would it be?
It's very sun sensitive.
Sun sensitive, okay. So what do you mean by that?
Look, it gets red and scaly after really short times in the sun, or even using sunscreen.
Okay, so you find you have a bit of redness after the sunscreen as well?
So I use sunscreen as much as I can, but it's not working for me.
Oh, okay, it'd be interesting to see if you try the Arbonne one. I can talk to you a little bit towards the end about Arbonne sunscreen to see if there's a particular ingredient that might be in some of the other supermarket brands that's not in ours, because we have a beautiful mineral-based sunscreen, so I can talk to you about that. I'll just make a note about that. Okay, so do you have what you consider sensitive skin? Okay.
I would. That's why I don't use a lot of products.
Okay, so when you say sensitive, what do you mean?
Again, it's very red.
Gets
very
red?
easily.
Okay. And I can see you circled here the sensitivity, and you've got some dryness as well. You circled dryness.
So it's quite oily in places and dry in other places.
Okay.
Obviously not using the right products for me.
Okay. So I can see you're also over 25. So what we're going to use today is our anti-aging range. So based on what you've just shared with me about your specific skin sensitivities, you may find that this range, because it is quite active, we've got an incredible amount of really good quality active ingredients in them. You may find that redness that you experience does happen the first few times you use this product. It's a really normal response. You also might experience a little bit of tingling, a little bit of flush complexion, which is one of the things I shared when we were out in the group. So if that happens, it's really normal, but if that stinging switches to if the tingling switches to a stinging or burning sensation, that's not what we're going for today. We're going for a really enjoyable experience, so just let me know. If that happens, it just means the products are too active for your skin and we can switch you to our sensitive skincare range. So I'll just put this down here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to literally do the first step in the bathroom, which is cleansing your face. But before we do that, I'm just going to give you a little bit of our beautiful eye makeup remover, which is so gentle on even the most sensitive eyes. So if you're wearing any mascara, you can just literally just remove that now. And with that particular product, if you find, I can see that you've got, like myself, some eyelash extensions, but if you ever had them removed and you went back to wearing mascara, to get the best effect out of using the product. You actually can sort of hold it on and then just very gently swipe. It's such a good quality product. It really easily removes it without having to rub and pull, and it doesn't sting sensitive eyes, which is really good too. Cool. So I'll pop that in the bin. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use the cleanser. So I've got a little face cloth here to dry your skin. So our product doesn't contain sodium or sulfate, so it's not going to foam up like a traditional cleanser and spread across the face. So to use the product, you literally just put a little bit of the water, whether you want it warm or cold, it's up to you. Just splash your face with a little bit of the water, leave some water on your hands. I'm going to give you half a pump. Best thing about Arbonne is a little bit goes a long way because of the quality of the product. And then you literally just rub your hands together, give your face a good scrub, and then just rinse it off. And that's it. So what do you do for work?
I'm doing some admin work at the moment.
Oh, awesome! In the local company, or whereabouts do you work?
It's a family business, so yeah, it's lovely.
Oh, wonderful! Have you worked with them for long?
No, it's very much.
Oh, wonderful! And do you love it?
I do.
What is it that you love most about what you do?
I think it's the flexibility, having the kids,
Yeah.
you know, close by. I can pick them up without having to stress about that.
I can completely relate to that. That's one of the reasons why I love my business and love doing what I do as well, because I've got that complete flexibility to kind of work around my family. So I kind of love locking in all of my personal stuff first, and you know, being there for assembly with the kids, and we had a toweling day the other day, which was super fun. So it's good that you've got that flexibility in your job too. How are you finding that cleanser?
It's gorgeous, yeah.
It's really nice. So it's not going to foam up like a traditional cleanser because I said it doesn't have that sodium or sulfate. And it's kind of like the perfect combination between a creamy cleanser and a foamy cleanser. It sort of ticks both boxes. And it's really good because it's really gentle, but it does really remove all of the makeup. So you can see it's kind of removed all your makeup really easily without having to kind of keep scrubbing on.
Fantastic.
Brilliant. How's it feel?
Beautiful.
Feels good?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, we can go and join the rest of the group and I'll bring one of your friends in.
Cool.